Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's John. Another vintage camera for you this time, and we're looking at another Soviet-made SLR. This is the Zenit TTL. So let's take a look. So this is the Zenit TTL. It's looking in a little bit of a poor state, but more on that in a moment. This is a Russian-made, well, I say Russian, the old Soviet Union made camera from 1977 to 1985. And this particular one was manufactured in 1980 to commemorate the 1980 Olympic Games in Moscow. So you can see the Olympic symbol on top, but you'll see a lot of them made without that. As I say, this was kind of like a special edition. Doesn't make it really any more valuable, but it's a nice little thing to have, I guess. So it's a 35mm camera, all right, an SLR. As you can see, I don't have a lens on here at the moment, but I will come back to that more shortly. So before I go into more detail about the camera itself, I might explain this one, as you can see, is in quite poor condition. Basically, I was in an antique shop in Ireland recently, and I was actually purchasing a completely different camera, and basically they offered me this one for another few euro thrown in. I bought it and then basically thought, oh, I'm going to either sell it for parts or bin it. But to be honest with you, the longer it's been sat on my shelf, the more I've decided to have a go at bringing it back to somewhat of its former glory. Probably not looking new as such, but certainly operational and a bit cleaner. So I'm part way through that now, and I'll show you some of my efforts later on in the video. So the first thing I would say about this camera is that it is really solidly built. It's all metal. It's very heavy. I thought the Yashica TL Electro that I featured in a previous video was heavy, but this is proper solid, nice weighty body to it. But let's go through some of its sort of basic functions. If I flip it around at the back first of all, we have battery cover. The battery that would originally come in this little button battery is no longer manufactured, but there is a modern equivalent, and I'll leave perhaps a link in the description to a sample in case you're looking to purchase your own. We have a viewfinder here, which is again, slightly unusual in the fact that it's round, but other than that, fairly basic. It's got a blue tint to it, which I'll attempt to show you shortly. But apart from the focusing prism and a needle for a very basic light meter, it's pretty straightforward. We have on top here a wind-on crank, which is again metal and quite solid, works really well. We have a tape-back spool with a crank handle, which is fairly common. Obviously, this is used to wind the film back into the canister when you're finished shooting. And lifting it up, unlike most SLRs that would actually pop the back open, that doesn't do that, but it does obviously allow you to take the film out. We've got an ASA slash ISO slash DIN, in fact, is also mentioned on here, selector switch, and so that runs from 16 ASA up to 500 ASA. Cold shoe for holding a flash, and the flash can be synchronized with a little port here on the front. Now normally here would be the knob that allows you to select shutter speed. As you can see, unfortunately mine's missing, but sometimes they crop up on eBay, so I am hoping to replace that. However, if it were here, we would see speeds of 1/30th of a second to 1/500th, and indeed a bulb option as well. We have our shutter release button, which works. And obviously it has the receptacle for a release cable as well. You're able to lock the shutter once it's fired by pressing in and sort of twisting it, which is a bit fiddly. that now is locked down so that you can't fire even if the film was wound on. Another feature it has, even if it is wound on, we can turn the collar, and basically that allows us to keep winding the film on. I'm not really sure why you would need to do that, and the shutter is disabled apart from activating the light meter. But yeah, I'm not really sure what pointer that is really, so perhaps if you know, you can leave a comment. But once I've disengaged that, we're now winding the film on and the shutter is working again. If we turn around to the front, we've got a self-timer lever here, so clockwork one if you like. Once the film is wound on, we can then turn this down to set the timer and set it going like so. Not exactly sure how long it is, I've not timed it, but it's about 10 seconds. And once it reaches the desired point, it fires the shutter. And then on the side of the camera, then we've got the mechanism for opening the back door. We just lift this and then we can see inside. So film goes here. We've got sort of cloth shutters, which I can see in action here. And as you can see, they work. Obviously, the film's advanced onto this spool here. We have a serial number, but I haven't really found much indication of that being able to date your camera. Like I say, I only know that this is 1980 because of the Olympic version, but there are obviously other versions as well. On the bottom, as you can see, tells us that it's made in the USSR, and we do also have a mounting point for a tripod as well. Now, unfortunately, as I say, this didn't come with a lens. The lens that would originally been sold with this was a Helios lens, 44mm, a manual focus lens. The mount is M42, so it's a 42mm screw mount, which is used by a few different cameras. So I've just got a lens here that's normally attached to my Praktica, which I'll leave a link to that video. But if I was just to screw this on, oops, I can now show you what it looks like through the viewfinder. So not easy to film for the viewfinder, but hopefully that's clear enough for you to see. That it's quite a nice bright view that you get, and I'll indicate when I edit the video. There's a little needle to the right to indicate exposure. Not currently working because I do need a battery loaded, as I showed you earlier, but that is the only function that requires a battery. The camera works perfectly well. So if you've got a separate light meter or a light meter app on your phone or whatever else, you can use that instead. But obviously I will be getting a battery for it at some point. So I want to show you my sort of plan to restore this camera. As you can see, this is taken before I started cleaning the camera, and it's pretty grotty. Is caked in dust, the top of the camera is caked in dust, and generally it's looking in a very sorry state. It's solidly built. We don't want to damage anything, so basically I'm going to use some cotton buds, some isopropyl alcohol, which obviously evaporates very, very quickly, an old toothbrush, and generally a bit of elbow grease. don't want any fluff of any kind being left inside the camera. So microfiber, sort of lint-free cloth is used. This is an old one I used to clean lenses with, but it's got a bit grotty now, but it's ideal for this. This air puffer device can be bought from Amazon or any good photographic shop, and it's very useful for injecting a blast of air inside and just removing any of the larger particles which the cloth might miss. There we go. Certainly not perfect, but it's definitely looking a lot better, and I can actually see something through the viewfinder now, which is always a great thing. Like I say, fitted the wrong lens, but just so it enables me to do some testing, and luckily everything seems to have been working in terms of the shutter, the mirror moving, etc, etc. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very, very much again for watching. I really appreciate any interaction with the channel whatsoever. Getting closer and closer to 500 subscribers. Maybe this video can tip me over the edge. But anyway, thank you to everyone who has sort of contributed in any shape or form. Another video for you as soon as I can get it finished. So I'll hopefully see you very, very soon.